This black hat ain't just backing down. One thing, homie, if you don't know me, SEO, I'ma always hold the crown. You're trying to play clean, just leave the scene. It ain't too late, better pack it up. You just gotta ask if you don't know me. Just know one thing, I ain't backing down. Any living thing that cannot coexist must cease to exist. It's a rap, yeah, that's it. Got a lot of tough talk for someone still on that government cheese. You still ain't got what you need. I think you done went crazy. I let your ass into my world and you popped up just like a daisy. Gave you a hand up instead of a handout. You must be sober and bored, looking for some clout. Every time you go to your little crew, you block me just like a little punk. You still ain't even manned up. Mad about some fucking timestamps. Dude, shut the fuck up, you fucking dweeb. All you do is rank them long tail keywords. I know this must be a prank. That's why you been labeled Spam King of the Year. No worries, cause a real black hat is here. It's easy to see when you look at me. This black hat ain't just backing down. One thing, homie, if you don't know me, SEO, I'ma always hold the crown. You're trying to play clean, just leave the scene. It ain't too late, better pack it up. You just gotta ask if you don't know me. Just know one thing, I ain't backing down. I come at you with my black hat and shovel in my hand like the Grim Reaper to bury your ass. I size your body up and put some white chalk around it. Yeah, now let's talk about being grounded. You bitch about me, stealing your method when your dumb ass just gives it away. If it not, use a Pop-Tart, sweetheart, you're soft in the middle. So stop acting hard, cause you weak and you brittle. I'll eat your hate for breakfast, now that's a good start. You have no history and you ain't even smart. You never ranked anything of value, nothing, never. So stop fronting, man, you ain't even clever. I put you out there and now you think you a big shot. Remember where you come from in case you forgot. What's given can be taken away. I ain't mad at you, I'm logging out, have a nice day. It's easy to see when you look at me. This black hat ain't just backing down. One thing, homie, if you don't know me, SEO, I'ma always hold the crown. You're trying to play clean, just leave the scene. It ain't too late, better pack it up. You just gotta ask if you don't know me. Just know one thing, I ain't backing down.
Hey guys, we're going to have Adam here. We're going to be talking about AI and content and how to use it to scale Adams with InLeaf. So without further ado, let me go ahead and bring Adam on.
Hey buddy, how's it going?
Doing good, man. Give me 1 second here. There we go. There we go. It's going to give me an issue now. It's whatever.
Technology.
Yep, technology always does it to me. So give me 1 second. There we go. There we go. Nope, it's still going to give me an issue. There we go.
Awesome.
So, but how are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Doing all right. I've been seeing you speaking around. You've been making some rounds. You were at what, SEO Rock? I think SEO Rock Stars. Or I know you're at the mansion. You're at the Mansion Man.
Yeah, SEO Mastermind Mansion in Nashville. So yeah, spoke there a couple months ago. Spoke just last week, not at an SEO conference, but at a insurance franchise conference. So that was interesting. That was actually more challenging because I had to like dumb my stuff way down, and I think even then ended up like blowing some minds because
in that case, I'd say you probably did better, mainly because you were dealing with actual business owners. Really?
Yeah, no, the reception was great, but it was, you know, I'm used to speaking to my peers, right? And so
the techie terms and everything else, and all types of words that no one understands, but the SEO world. And then you'd go into insurance world, and you have to go, you know, dumb it way down in very basic stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same level of stuff that, you know, I would talk about on a pitch sales call, right? And there was kind of some of that. Well, I mean, one of the talks I basically ended up, I'm like, hey, I'm just going to take my intro deck, like, what is SEO and why is it important? So no, it went well, and then I'll be speaking again in Vietnam. So in March. So
yeah, that's with Mads. Mads is actually coming over here to visit me in February. He comes over here. We're gonna start. We have him basically this first time, but I want to have him as much as possible to teach our team. So we come over here to teach our management. He does that for most people like Matt Diggity and some bigger affiliates because he really knows how to manage. He manages like a team of a couple of hundred in Davao. So and he comes in only every 3 months. So
wow.
He's really good at what he does. So, and I really like him. He's actually the first person that invited me to ever speak at a conference. He invited me to speak at the conference in Vietnam, and I had to say no because I'm just too busy with outsourced sharks, getting that going. And then also we have our own conference coming up, and he's like, I know exactly what you're going through. So
it's like a lot. It's a lot to put on an event like that. I'm glad other people are taking that reign so I can just be a fly on the wall, right?
Yeah, but it's like in Asia, is this your first time going to Vietnam?
First time in Vietnam. I've been all over Asia. But
Asia as a speaker per se?
Not as a speaker. Yeah.
So imagine, for example, the biggest difference, I think, like if you're a bodybuilding contest or if you're a wrestler, or if you're in this case a name in the SEO world, people in the States, it's kind of like, oh, that's just Adam, or oh, that's just Craig, or oh, it's just Chris. Over here is like, oh my God, it's Craig, it's Chris, it's Adam. They're like rock stars. Yeah. So over here they treat you totally different.
Right. Especially if you're coming a long way. There's just kind of that built-in like authority and influence. I got some of that with this last conference I went to, even though, in the grand scheme of things, I'm a nobody, but it's because I'm coming in the outside industry. All of a sudden, I had a lot of people like asking me questions. I got a couple leads from it. So there is some of that happens. I mean, even I find myself, I go to conferences and you see somebody on a stage, just, I think psychologically you think like, oh, wow, should I talk to them? And, but everybody's just like everybody else at the end of the day, unless they're just stuck up or something.
That's the way it is. It's like whenever I was at SEO Underground speaking, a lot of my several clients are just people that know me and talk to me already and getting to meet you. And it's like, they're shy about coming up to you. And then they come in as like, just a normal dude. I just, I eat, I drink, I fart, I study. I mean, I'm not some weird person, so but it was pretty cool, being able, for me, the first time meeting Craig in person, Holly in person, Chris in person, and
I know I was telling somebody
all the people that you hang around,
I've been following like Craig for like ever, right? And and then just this last summer, I was, it's like I'm speaking alongside of him, and I'm just like, I was like, it's surreal, it's like it's like when your idols become your peers, that's kind of when like you've leveled up a little bit. So
I was seeing him in one of the pictures at the SEO mansion that y'all did, where he's just sitting outside in the grass playing on his phone. He's like, when you're the number one SEO and you get bored, what do you do? I told him, said, most people think that, I think Craig and all these guys, just all they want to do is talk about SEO. And the reality is no. It's like when after we're done speaking, it's like we just get to hang out and talk, and he's a normal person. I'm like, he's really cool to be around. It's like,
a lot of those people are really cool, man. I mean, like, it's funny because there's a lot of like, I think you get a different feeling online. There's a lot of egos, and they kind of inflate online, but then you all get in a room and everybody's like, like pals, right? I don't know if you've seen the meme where it's dogs on the other side of the fence and they're trying to kill each other. They open the fence and then they're just kind of like shy. That's how it is in the SEO world too.
So I tell my wife, because she tells me, she's like, just leave it alone. And I said, no, I've learned from copywriter I love is Ben Settle. He talks about the art of trolling and stuff. So when people troll you, troll them back and stuff like that. But the thing is, there are a lot of people that will do that in the industry, but then there are others that you would probably like. me and Holly used to not get along, and then me and Holly, because someone else said, and then we kissed and made up, if you will. And she's like my best buddy, you know. And the thing is, it's like in the SEO world, it seems like there's, like you're saying, but I call it a lot of dick swinging. And then when you come into the room,
that's pretty much it.
And then whenever you come into the same room, no one says shit to you. They just, you know, they're all cool and calm and collective, you know. But it's like online, everybody's like, I'm the best.
That's like, so have you ever met Jordan Pierce?
Yep. Have not met him in person, but I know who he is. He's a local SEO guy too.
Yeah.
He's really, I mean, honestly, really good at what he does and everything I've heard of him. We don't really talk too much, but I think I've had people go, I don't listen to him because he says one thing, then he goes and does another. I'm like, for me, for what I've seen, Jordan's always testing some things. He's always kind of trying to see what works. And when someone says something that doesn't work, let's say I'm putting backlinks to CIDs and shit, he goes out and tests it and says, does it work now? I mean, I've never had a problem with most of them.
Yeah, Jordan's a cool guy. Like, here's the thing with Jordan, and this is, I think he's a good example of this. If you interface with him online, like, he seems like he's kind of a prick. And if you're watching this, Jordan, you know I love you. But in real life, the guy's a sweet guy, man. Like, just like down to earth. Like, he'll be the first one to come up and compliment you, you know. Like, and so I really like the guy. But again, like, the online persona and the real life persona are two different things. And, you know, I think that's just the scenario we live in, but I think it's amplified in our industry, right?
It's very much amplified in our industry. And then I think online doesn't help it. It's one of the things. It's like writing emails and stuff. When you write emails, you can't tell someone's emotions and things like that. So speaking of writing and emotions and stuff, so I want to talk a little bit about AI and, you know, as far as, you know, what can AI do? Is AI going to replace us all? You know, because there are a lot of guys out there who think it seems like AI is just going to replace everybody. And there's no longer going to be need for content writers. And I was talking about this in SEO Signal Labs, and you got people that think it's going to kind of be like, have you ever watched The Terminator? And this Skynet's coming and all this other stuff. And I'm kind of like of the impression that I think it's there to help us. You know, matter of fact, we just watched a movie last night. It's a new horror movie about AI or a robot.
Okay.
You know, but the thing is, I think it's really, for the most part, in marketing. I don't know if it's just marketing or SEO. Seems like people have shiny object syndrome. Something new comes along, and then they always, like when Jasper came out.
Yeah,
everybody thought the world of Jasper. Now you ask a lot of some people now they hate it, and then other ones love it.
Right.
It's like it's kind of balanced itself out. And now I think it's happened. Same thing with AI. I will say with like OpenAI, you know, what is it, like Instagram? It took how many long to get so many million users? It's taken OpenAI like 5 days. I agree with that. It's at scale. It's happening a lot faster. Then you got people that get scared to death. They're like, is my job safe? I hear this from virtual assistants. Is it safe? And that's where I tell them, for me, I think then you need to look at it and go, well, I need to level up. This thing can write decent content. I need to level my game up. I think it's going to replace a lot of crappy content writers, but as far as replacing everybody, no, I don't see that happening. You know,
I think it comes down to like how agile people are. I do think, I mean, I do have some concerns that AI is definitely going to cause disruption, right? I think there's a lot of use cases where jobs are going to have to change, right? My wife's in education, for instance. She used to be an English teacher, and I was telling her, now she's an art teacher. But I was telling her, I'm like, I'm glad you're not an English teacher anymore, because I don't know how you would go about, you know, determining who's cheating and not, right? You know? So I think there's things that are going to be changed, like that are going to change. Like I'm not overly concerned.
I think you gotta evolve with it. It's like now with like you're talking with schooling, it's like they can't just believe that no one's cheating and just one or two people. Now it's going to be like,
Right.
I think 99% of you are probably cheating because,
Yeah.
y'all are all going to be using open AI, just like, they used to have to watch for calculators when the calculators started being used in school, and they got all types of tech people use. So,
yeah, my thought around this is that the days of having to know knowledge is almost gone, but there's a shift, and I think a lot of us are already in this shift where it's like, I don't have to know things now, I have to know how to get the answers, right? So before, it used to be like you would have to know the answers, basically rote memory, right? Whether it's like memorization of a test or memorization of this fact or that fact. And now it's all about like, do you have the skills and capabilities of getting the answers, whether it's math, writing, whatever it is. Like, and so if you can develop those skills, and I think you're going to be just fine, right? And that's the case for a lot of jobs. Unfortunately, there are a subset of people that are used to either just knowing the answers, or they're used to rote memory, and they're not as adaptive, or they don't have the skills to learn how to learn, essentially. And but yeah,
they're used
interesting.
to kind of getting by with it's like most employees, honestly. It's like, I want to clock in a little bit late, clock out a little bit early, and do what's needed just to get paid. If you're going to be like that and you're not going to level your skills up and not always trying to improve yourself, you're going to get replaced, period. So
I know for our team, we've been using chat GBT and AI. And so the funny thing, it's funny, like what I tell people a lot is that I'm horrible at content. Like, I'll be the first to say it, which is ironic because I'm in the realm of SEO. And it's like, well, so early on I realized, like, okay, I have a problem. I'm in a space that is very content oriented. Me personally, I'm not a great writer. So I need to be very good at teaching writers how to write for the web. And that's really kind of where I've like built a niche. I've, worked on a number of campaigns where I've taken like traditional writing teams and really kind of broken out, like, here's how to take your traditional writing and orient it for the web. And so with the introduction of all this AI stuff, it's taken me like a subpar writer and made me a decent writer. And it's taken my writing team who are good writers and made them like essentially excellent writers, right? Because they can become more efficient.
Kind of seen the same thing. It's like before, it's like, to write out, let's say, for example, you needed to write a email sequence. Before, it's like, oh my God, how do I come up with all these ideas and all this? And now, like, I used to go to Google, type in a keyword, and go to people also ask, because Google is telling you what people also ask. You could do the same thing with OpenAI, and it'll go, well, here's 20, things people are wondering about. And you can go, hey, what's some, viral TikTok, captions I could come up with these terms, and it'll spit them out for you. It just makes you more efficient. And like email sequences, you could take the same thing. You can plan out 30 freaking emails, sequences in a matter of an hour. I mean, so to me, it's just helped me. I mean, my personal assistant, she helps me with a lot of that stuff, and I'll make the turn. I'll be going there and do my, if you will, my research, give it to her. She writes it out, and it's like done, scheduled for the whole freaking month. Ain't gotta worry about it, man.
Yep. I had an interesting scenario like that. So like, we've been using it and testing it a lot with like general SEO, but even external marketing stuff. It's amazing what we've been able to leverage. And I'll give you the perfect example. So I had a project. Basically, we were creating a brand style guide for a client. And I hired someone to kind of do this for me. And last minute, they're like, hey, I'm sorry, I can't do it. And so like, I'm caught with my pants down. I'm like, oh crap, what am I going to do? I got to deliver this. And I got nobody to write this content. Right now, I had the client fill out our general questionnaire that goes into a bunch of questions. And, they did a good job kind of giving us the generals. Right. And then I had this aha moment. I'm like, what if I take that content and I put it in chat GBT, and then I give it all these commands. I'm like, okay, turn this text into 3 taglines, and it spits it out. I'm like, okay, now turn this block of text into a vision statement. and it does it. Turn this block of text into a positioning statement. Add 4 pillar terms, and literally it created this perfect diagram. I then took that, gave that to my designer, and bam, we were done. We delivered the whole thing. I ended up saving money because I'm not working with a writer. So that's just one of many use cases where we've been able to leverage this technology to expedite what we would otherwise, do.
We've kind of been doing the same thing with like SEO. I could take a list of keywords, put it in there, and it takes in says, can you make this into a can you give me, if you will, a silo or associated keywords? It'll spit out the associated keywords. Then I say, can you please silo the content? And it'll silo the content and structure it out for you. Now, can you come up with blog content ideas for the next, if you will, 30 blogs? I want to drop 30,000 words of content in, and it'll do the same thing. So we've been using it to do that, to structure and internal linking and pulling out the keywords. I mean, all types of stuff we've been using it for. That is just, if anything, made it easier.
Right. Just the research too. Like we have like a stacked command where we say build a list of keywords for a niche topic and sort them into clusters. And then the second command is identify search intent for each keyword. And then we say, come up with a list of blog topic ideas for each cluster with headings and subheadings. And it just, I mean, you have your whole like roadmap right there. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's like it makes it so much easier too, because I don't have to sit there and it's like if you're going to do the research and everything, it takes a long time, and I can literally take the information I already know and have and put it in there, and it pops it out pretty much within seconds, and then I can go in there and use Hrefs and fine tune it and stuff like that. Got some people in here. Rick Anderson, how you doing, buddy? Who else? To be decided. Very competitive industry. Got to be similar to lawyers. I would strongly agree.
I've been doing some contracts too with it. So speaking of lawyers, like all of our privacy policies now, like, contract. Like, I don't know how legally binding they are, but they look pretty solid. So
I think a lot of like, depending on certain things, like I would doubt that it could necessarily, generally speaking, when it comes to law, maybe, but specific states and specific county laws, I would doubt. I don't think it's been fed that kind of information yet, because legal stuff varies from not just state to state, but county to county in the United States. I know that. So,
well, and the other thing to keep in mind too is the data models only go to 2021. So,
yeah, it even tells you that. So, I mean, it's like it's not an up to date 2023, 2022. It's none of that stuff. It's not something that just happened yesterday or whatever. So, who else we got here?
I wanted to ask you about a story though, because I have some thoughts on this. I'd be curious to get your thoughts. Have you heard about the Amazon ChatGPT story?
No.
All right. So I just heard this, I think yesterday. Basically, long story short, an Amazon lawyer is telling their employees that they shouldn't be using ChatGPT, for any queries or introduce any data that's confidential. Basically, he's saying, like, I've already seen instances where
I would agree with on. I know what you're talking about. So,
right, the output closely matches stuff that could only come from within the company, which makes sense because it's a data model, right? It's just gathering our stuff. But that had me thinking, because I'm trying to think, what is the future, right? Like how would you do SEO for, say, a AI based search engine? And if it is taking data, right, and we can train it, what's stopping me from, putting all this favorable stuff about, William Jones or Adam Chronister, or maybe putting all this negative stuff about my competitor? I think we could start training these AI models now, and it's almost like a query based version of SEO that I could see emerging in the future. Where
I mean, honestly, that's all you're really doing with the AI anyways. I tell people all the time, go watch the movie Short Circuit. That's all AI is right now. It's not, if you will, the AGI, or it's totally different. It's you're giving it data, it's collecting data, and it's only going to be able to spit out the data you've given it.
Right.
So you could go in there and say war is wonderful and war brings peace and war is this and all the things that you want. And then you could say, and then someone else comes in there and says war is not good, and it's going to be, it's not going to recognize it.
Yeah.
I forget the name of the movie. Oh my gosh. There's a horror movie. If you haven't seen it, it's right along the lines of basically it's like this machine they developed, prototype, and it was learning and more what made the child upset, what made the child mad, what scared the child, and then it was supposed to protect it. And then the thing is, it's like, it wound up, if you will, taking over. But I think a lot of people are scared because they watch too many movies,
right,
and Terminator and shit like that. But I think just really think it's there to help people. So
yeah,
one guy asked,
what's that?
And one guy asked this. He's to be decided. Is there an AI or text analytics tool that can analyze someone else's site and break out the blog categories? If you just want the blog categories, you can go to their sitemap. You can go to their sitemap and take all the damn, blogs, pages, everything. But
the official response is that like Chat GBT isn't crawling the web, but I have pretty good evidence that I don't think that's true.
I don't think that's true either, from what I've seen.
Yeah, I think they've tried to lock that portion of it down, but they haven't done a good job, because there's a cool video called if anyone wants to have a little fun, there's a video, I think it's called if you just did a Google search for like jailbreak Chat GBT, this guy did this whole like hour-long use case of ways that he could basically get around all of the Chat GBT limitations, and it's pretty fascinating, right? And so, us SEOs, us black hats, us hacker-minded people, like we're always looking like, okay, how can I break this, right? So,
or as Holly says, churn and burn SEO. So
yeah,
because I have people that accuse me specifically of that. Of like, like Holly will tell you, say, I don't want to sit around and try to figure shit out. I ain't got time for that shit. I don't want to do that shit. I want to be able to figure out something in 5 minutes, get it ranking, and move along. So,
right.
And if eventually it stops working, oh well, I move on to the next thing.
Right.
I don't give
a shit.
The
next thing. Yeah.
If you want that, go to White Hat. So,
what's your opinion of do you like Google and their approach? One, do you think they can detect AI? I'm pretty sure they probably can. But two, do you think they actually would even have the ability to do it in any kind of meaningful manner?
No, mainly because I think they can. For instance, okay, give you an example. Can they index every single link? Can they index every single page? Do they have that capability?
They're not doing a good job of indexing now.
Okay, so if they can't index all information that's available on the web, what makes you think they're going to be able to, if you will, detect every single piece of AI? It's impossible. Right. They can't do it. It's too much information.
Yeah, the sheer processing power.
Do I think they're going to allow I'll tell you this is where I say I think tech companies do have a lot of power.
Yeah.
Do I think they're going to allow AI to get but so far? Yes, I do. I think they'll let it get so far, and then they'll either shut it completely down, fix it, or they'll buy the bitch out. They're going to do one of the three.
Microsoft is rumored to be.
They already bought into it.
Yeah,
I know. They just invested a shit ton of money into it. So,
yeah.
And if they're investing, their search engines and stuff like that, and Bing and everything else. But I definitely see a lot of that. It's just for me as well. It's like you realize that Google already has AI. Google already uses AI.
They just haven't released a lot of it. So
I personally view the Google search engine as AI.
Yeah.
To me, it's a much smarter and advanced AI, mainly because if you look at it, for instance, AI or ChatGPT is only going through the information it already has, right?
Right.
It's a database, and it's able to pull from that database.
Right.
Google or the internet essentially is a database.
Right. It's
A
the
bunch of
world.
websites, pages. It's the world. It's the World Wide Web, and Google pulls, results back from that data. That's the same thing that the AI is doing. The only difference between Google is Google's, in my opinion, more advanced. Something just happened 10 seconds ago. It's already on Google.
Yeah.
Because it's already in the database. The difference is with the, AI we have now, open AI, it's not supposedly not doing that.
Right.
Can it? I think yes, but will I think Google and the big players, if you will let that happen? Nope. I don't.
I've also heard other rumors, and I don't know how true they are, but rumors are rumors, but supposedly like Sergey Brin and Larry Page are being called back to to Google because of a lot of this stuff, which if true would be quite interesting.
Oh, I agree. I think it's going to be very interesting. He says Microsoft owns now 49% in it. That's why I think it will wind up being a big thing between Microsoft and Google. I really do think that'll happen, but you'll wind up seeing, I think, Google, if anything, buy the shit out. Or I don't see Microsoft doing it. I just don't see Microsoft being able to do it. I think if anything, it creates better. It's if you will, capitalism at work.
Yeah.
Creating competition. Google for the longest time has not had to really compete. Like Bing and Yahoo, they own 1%, 2% of searches. That shit might change. Might change, bro. Right now, but Google owns 90-something% of all searches. That shit might change. A lot of that just changes, and you have to go, let me, evolve with it. You can't be scared of it. Brent says, "Hey, Brent, how you doing, brother?" He's another local, SEO guy. I met him with Mike Merlino, so love Brent. He's a really good guy. The only problem with AI is content is so easy to make. How to index it? Is it too costly for Google? And that's what my point is. It's like, even there was a screenshot I seen the other day where the email you get sometimes from Google, when Google sends you an email, literally took that, put it into an AI detector, and it says 100% AI.
Right.
So Google's using AI. And it's like this. Okay, does Google like AI? No, they don't like AI. Google don't like backlinks, but guess what? The reason why they don't like backlinks has nothing to do with do backlinks work. They sell backlinks, which are called ads. Ads are backlinks. That's all they are. They're text with an anchor text, and they lead you to a page, and they sell the shit. That's why they don't like backlinks.
Even in its most rudimentary level, like I'll give you an example. So when news came out of ChatGPT, like I created a whole article called it's something to the extent of what is ChatGPT, all written in ChatGPT. And at the very end, I said, by the way, this article is written all in ChatGPT. This is something I did mostly for social media, right? I wasn't even really thinking
I think I've seen you post this somewhere.
Yeah. And so I looked the other day and I was like, dang, this thing's ranking. It's not ranking high, but it's like the top of page 2 consistently. And I don't even think I did metadata for it. It was just something I did for social media, and I'm like, okay, so like now what if you actually ran it through Surfer SEO, which I didn't do that, or Pop or anything else?
Yeah.
What if I actually SEO'd this guy? You can't tell me that the stuff doesn't rank, right? And now how long will it stick around?
Definitely know it ranks. That's a fact.
Yeah.
So tell me we've been
here's another interesting thing too is so a month or two ago, I was interviewed by the Wall Street Journal on AI because I was using another AI tool. And interestingly, Danny Sullivan was also quoted in that, and he basically said that, like, to summarize it, he basically was saying that we don't really care how the content's created as long as it's, useful, right? Whatever that means, useful. Which seems to kind of like contradict what John Mueller says, where basically, it's against our terms and services. So even Google doesn't agree with themselves, right? They contradict themselves all the time, and this is a perfect example. But I tend to, maybe because I'm biased, but I tend to think like Danny Sullivan's answer is a little bit more accurate, where like, as long as the content is useful and it meets their end objective, I don't really think that they, one, care, and two, want to go out of their way to penalize content that helps their overall business model, right?
Correct.
So
let's see what else we got here. Screaming Frog. If you're wanting, what's his name, with some the blogs, pulling the blogs, to be decided. Facebook user says Screaming Frog. ChatGPT won't do it at all. I don't necessarily know about that. I know it does a lot of things that I've already tested on. So there is have you tried this extension? Have you tried the ChatGPT extension, APRIM?
I've never used it, but
yeah, I've been hearing a lot about it. This guy dropped the link in here. So, but I haven't used it. Just curious if you've used it at all. So,
I've used,
what
a couple like, there's a Gmail integrated plugin.
Mm-hmm.
One of the ways that we get around AI detection, we have like a kind of an AI stack. So, for instance, we'll use ChatGPT for the content, and then I'll use WordTune to spin it. But you could use Jasper or other tools. So basically, you get your output, then you spin it, and then I from there I can run it through like a GPT-2 output detector and verify that it passes. And then from there, I just do my Grammarly and my Surf for SEO, and it's good to go. So if forbid, God forbid, someday Google does, try to penalize AI content, that alone will get around the whole concern, right?
Yeah. So the extension that I was mentioning to you, I'll send it to you. You can check it out.
Yeah.
The AIPRM, the extension has a list of curated prompts and templates for SEO, SaaS, and more to ChatGPT. And it's free, and it's on Chrome.
Actually, who's the author of this?
I don't know. It's AIPRM.
I think if it's not this, there's another one very similar. It might be the same one that I have actually used. So,
on this one, essentially, you can save your prompts,
yep.
and you can share them with the community so they can benefit from it and all that. So you can have your own prompts. For example, outrank an article, keyword strategy, one-click blog post, optimize a Google business profile in 10 seconds, human written and plagiarism free, video script editor, and review responses, and blog. It currently already has over 200 different templates and stuff, use cases for SEO alone. So, I personally would use, how can you use it to improve SEO? I think, if anything, it gives you the ability to do things at scale. I've already been using other tools and extensions. Like, a lot of people will go, William has multiple profiles, he's everywhere, and all this, and I get accused of shit. And it's like, what happens, if you really want to know, is I have a tool that goes in to groups, and I tell it, look for these people, look for this type of ideal client, and it goes through and friends them, and then it messages them and creates a conversation.
Right. Yeah.
And so that's all done in automation. So I think, if anything, tools like this just helps you scale your SEO and your ability. So let's say at one point you might have needed, let's say, 4 or 5 content writers. Now you can go down to 2, because it can do more in less time.
Or you can, in the reverse, what we're looking at now is, we have the same amount of writers, but now we can offer our clients double the amount of content, right? And maybe we raise our prices a little bit and say, hey, we're gonna raise our prices, but tell you what, we're actually going to be doing, double the amount of content. So
correct.
Everybody
giving
wins.
your clients more value. So
yep.
So I said, don't look at things that happen in life as so much. It's like it's a problem. Everybody, it's like my old boss has taught me this. People would come to the meeting and they'd have complaints or whatever. And he said, so what's the solution?
Right.
Don't come to me with just problems. It's like when you look at this, look at it from a solution-based scenario. That's why I really like hanging around. I might not like, quote unquote, don't get along sometimes with some SEOs, but I like SEOs and entrepreneurs because they look at it from how can we fix this. I like SEO because they like, let's test things and figure out why this happened, not necessarily the issue. It's like, why did it happen? Let's make sure it doesn't happen again, that sort of thing. So write a better version of this blog. That works. Yep, I use that one as well. You take the blog, copy it in, paste it, and write a better version.
You mentioned this earlier. You can write it in a voice. Like I'll do a lot of write this in the style of the Wall Street Journal, or write this in the voice of Seth Godin. Right? Like it's fun to experiment with that stuff, even down to the silly stuff. So the other day, my daughter was like, "What are you doing, Dad?" I'm like, "Oh, check this out." And so we wrote a whole little kid's story, right? And so
I've been messing with it with my son and stuff too. So he's the same way. It's like my son's 15 and I've got him reading books and trying to learn and video recording, blogging, stuff like that. So he can find what he likes in ChatGPT and stuff like that. But I even told someone, it's like when kids trying to teach them, it's like, I think a lot of people, they think, well, I can ignore it and it won't affect me. And that's not the way to deal with anything. It's like, I'm not going to tell people what I believe about them or how I feel about them, but Tate, they got arrested and all that shit. And I tell people, it's like, I actually like a lot of what the guy says, right? But people were like, do you want your son listening to him and this and that? I'm like, listen, if you think your son's not listening to this guy already, you're a dumbass, okay? My son listens to him, so I can't ignore what's going on. I actually have to kind of teach them. And it's the same thing with ChatGPT. Whenever stuff comes out, I have to sit down and talk to them about it and let's do this together and kind of teach them what it can be used for, and that kind of thing's exciting for me. It's like he's interested in that, and as far as SEO, he thinks SEO is freaking boring. He hates SEO, like Chat GPT and stuff like that. He's excited, hacker type stuff. He loves that shit. Black Hats loves it, and regular SEO is not interested.
Keep no, it's the same thing with my kids. That's why I was showing, I showed my daughter this stuff. Just to see like what kind of ideas she came up with, right? And she's coming up with different ideas and use cases than I would, right? And so that's expanding my horizon because I'm like, oh, like I can see how would this technology work, or how would it be utilized from the perspective of a child, or and then that can go into like even my own clients, like okay, like how could my clients utilize this? Like one of the things I'm thinking about putting together is a tutorial on how to use ChatGPT for real estate, right? So, because we deal with a lot of real estate and hospitality. So, how can that technology be leveraged for individualized industries, right? From, improving their housing descriptions to their listings, little things like that. Like it's interesting to use technology to your advantage, right?
So I'll give you one that I'm actually doing right now. So I went, who's the ideal client for local SEO? Just out of curiosity. Now, if you don't know what an ideal client's like, who is the number one client you should be going after if you're in, let's say, SEO, local SEO? It says restaurants, cafes, retail stores, service-based businesses, professional services, lawyers, accountants, real estate agents, hotels, accommodation, health providers, local venues, entertainment, theaters. These businesses rely on foot traffic, local customers, drive revenue, and would be great benefit for local search, right? You want to increase their visibility in geographic areas. Then I said, if I wanted only affluent clients, what niche should I focus on? Affluent being they got money. Okay.
Right.
This is what it says. Luxury goods and services, high-end fashion, jewelry, watches, cars, private jets, yachts, etc. Real estate. This includes luxury, high-end vacation homes, exclusive developments, financial and business services, investing, banking, wealth management, accounting, travel and leisure, luxury vacations, five-star hotels, health and wellness, which would be luxury spas, private gyms, high-end medical treatments, art and collectibles, high-end galleries, dealers, auction houses, professional services such as executive coaching, leadership consulting, and luxury event planning. Keep in mind, these niches tend to have a lot of competition.
Right.
You'll need to work hard to differentiate yourself and establish a reputation as a provider of high quality luxury goods and services. I'm going to try one thing. Can you write a sales letter for SEO services for high-end luxury niches? Just out of curiosity. While we're here, we might as well do some of this.
Right.
You're a prospect. As a business leader in this niche, you understand the importance of standing out in a crowded market. That's why I'm writing to introduce you to our local high-end luxury niche services. And then he goes on, it's talking about at blank, we specialize in helping luxury brands, businesses increase their online visibility. I mean, this shit right here that is doing sounds a lot better than most of the fucking spam I get from people trying to pitch services.
Yeah, I did a sample like that, a sample email for this insurance conference I was at, and you should have saw like the eyes of the people in the crowd. I'm like, yeah, this is the email that it spit out from this very simple prompt, and you could see the light bulbs going on, and they're just thinking like, holy crap!
I mean, it's amazing.
Write an email that good, right? So
this is what it just did. This is an email, or a sales letter. Specialize in helping luxury brands, business increase on visibility. Our team of experts has a deep understanding of the unique challenges, opportunities that come with targeting affluent customers. We know how to create a customized SEO strategy that will help you reach your goals. We understand luxury brands require a different approach when it comes to SEO. I mean, this thing right here is like the shit, man. And it's like, please note that this is a fictional letter, not targeted. At the very end, it's like, for educational purposes only type thing.
right.
But that is freaking, it's pretty insane what it can do. Just with a little bit that we've been messing with. This guy is asking, what have you tested so far using it for Google Business Profile Optimization? We have a little bit, but I mean, meta tags, meta titles, offers, posts, content makes it a lot easier to me. I could do things a lot faster. I mean, that's the only thing it's doing. It's like you have to have
it's process. It's just more efficient, right?
Speed. Yeah, it's like you have to have your own SOP or standard operating procedure in place, and then take that and couple it with Chat GPT or any AI, Jasper, ScaleNut. I use ScaleNut specifically, and then it just scales your content. It makes it easier, and you can do it more efficiently and faster. That is all. I mean, if you look at the definition of evolution, that people that actually believe in it, is you are evolving with your environment, you're learning and adapting. Most people don't want to learn and adapt. They want to just be comfortable, and you get comfortable. What happens? You get fat, you get lazy, you get left behind, stuff like that. So, but overall, I really like a lot of things I can use it for. Since you want to know about the Google.
There's a quote too to that, and it's usually attributed to Charles Darwin, but I think they don't know. But it's basically, it's not the strongest of the species that survive, nor the most intelligent. It's the one most adaptable to change. And regardless of whether Darwin quoted that or somebody else, I think it's contested. I think that's very true, right? Like It's those who can adapt are typically, whether it's technology or societal changes, like those that have the ability to adapt are typically those that thrive, and that's why I find it ironic. Like I got in a big debate with another gal, and she's pretty well known, I think more in the social media marketing world, but she's got a following. And we got in a big debate about AI tech, right? And I'm like, look, the bull's already charging. You better like get on for the ride, or you're going to get hit. And she kind of took the attitude of like, oh, this will never be like good enough to use. And like, I could read between the lines, and basically like she was feeling threatened because her whole business model is based off of content. Now all of a sudden something comes along that starts to chip away at that, which I understand, right? Like it can be threatening, but you can't put your head in the sand and pretend like change isn't happening, right? Because you'll get swallowed up.
So for example, this guy, you were asking Peter, for example, with Google My Business, what could you do? This is an example. I need 30 different posts for a local roofer in Jacksonville. And I said, hey, can you come up with some titles for some GMB posts, right? So where are 30 topics, right? Then I could literally go, just for example, can you come up with 2 sentences for each of those topics, please, using the keywords roofer and location, Jacksonville, Florida. So it's coming up with sentences for each one of those posts. And then let's say, let me get a roofer. I'm just going to say QDR roofing or something like that. It's one of the old clients, just to see what it will do. And then, so I have this SOP and it's doing all this stuff right now. And it's sharing everything. Once it's done, let's go ahead and say stop, right? Now, can you take, and I know this is a violation in Google's terms of services, whatever. You're not supposed to put name, address, and phone number, blah, blah, blah in it, right? But whatever, we're going to do it anyways. Now, can you add this website URL at the end of these sentences? You just see what it's doing, right? So you're giving it your SOP. You could go, your first step is I need topics. Second step is, can you take those topics and make them into posts? Third step is, can you take the name, address, and phone number in your URL structure and put it in there, or the page that you want them to visit? And it does that. Then there are other AIs that can go out and grab photos, or if you have photos of your company already, I throw this stuff into, if you will, Local Viking, or I can use Lead Snap, or I can use Go High Level, or whatever, or you could use your VA. And now I have 30 days of GMB posts already planned out. I can literally give this to my client and say, please approve this. And guess what? I already got 30 of them approved, and I don't have to wait on a client. I don't have to sit there and spend, if you will. Normally it takes a very long time to do just GMB posts. People, they're easy. Yeah, try doing that with like 1,500 clients and see how easy that shit is. But now if I have Chat GPT or I have another AI, I can put that shit out for 1,500 clients in a few days.
Yeah.
Right. Versus, taking a couple of months. All right. So is 2 sentences the normal length I give a GMB post? Up until I believe it was October, November, I used longer GMB posts. Number one, people aren't going to read them. They're there for CTR or click-through rate. So what happened late last year was we started getting all our posts weren't going live and we couldn't see them. We were posting them, see them on back end, but they're not going live. And we're like, why are they not going live? And I tried the photo, tried the name, address, phone number, Remove that because it's a violation of Google terms of service. Remove the URL, violation of terms of service. Still was getting rejected. What it was, Peter, I removed it down to, instead of 4 sentences, down to 2, and it accepted it.
Interesting.
So,
yeah.
It was weird. There are always those little things that, could be. So Peter says it's a real game changer, saves so much time, which is the biggest resource in SEO. It's the biggest resource in life. I mean, what I would tell people, like, for instance, money doesn't make you happy. You're right. It doesn't make you happy, but it gives you options and it gives you the time. It gives you some of your time back. So now I can figure out what does make me happy.
Exactly. Yeah.
So when you're too busy working all the time, you can't figure those things out. But
yeah, I think sometimes we optimize too much for money and we forget to optimize for time, right? And I think for a while, like I think for a while you have to optimize for money, and then at some point you can say, "Oh wow, I got enough money. Now I'm going to start optimizing for time." Right?
Yeah.
Like that seems like the natural progression for, But then there's other people that they forget about the optimization for time and they're just chasing money. Like, I mean, to each their own. I'm not going to judge, but you got to have, in my opinion, you got to have balance, right?
It's like I've seen people talk about, they got this 10,000 square foot house. I got this Lambo and I go on these vacations and stuff. And people are like, they ask me thinking and I'm like, I just don't talk about this stuff. It's like, dude, I got freaking 3 houses. We got a 3-story house, 2-story house. This is all this stuff. But that's not why I do it. I like the ability to work for myself because I can spend time with the people I love. Because when you're working for somebody else, you're spending more time with your boss than the people you love. And I think that's really what AI gives you the ability to, is like, be around the people that you love more. When something used to take you 10 hours, it now takes you 1 hour or 2 hours. Now you're pulling more of your time back so you can spend it doing, more stuff that you like. Sam Mig, like, I don't drink, bro, but I have had Sam Mig, and I have had San Miguel, and I've had Red Horse over here in the Philippines. But the one time I had it, the next day I was like, I felt so droggy. I haven't drunk in I see all these SEO conferences people drink. I heard Craig, he's like, you don't drink? I said, I'll drink Coke or water, bro. I'm not drinking liquor. And everybody, most of them are just drinking and stuff. I don't do it. So, but
you're like
I'm
Chris
still
Coleman.
good hanging out with them.
Yeah.
I literally was at the SEO Underground and no one early, and so was he, and no one could find him. Good morning. No one could find him because he was out having fun.
Yeah.
Drink. And I'm like, dude, come on now. But he's already asked me because he's coming to the Philippines. He's like, what's there to do? I was like, there's so much to do, dude. Just show up.
Yeah. No, I definitely want to make it out there. We'll make it happen one of these times here soon. So
yeah, well, this will be it's called the World of Search, and it will be once a year. The first conference will easily get 500 or more people by next year, if over 1,000. It's just, we can't we could get 1,000 people now. It's just a matter of, we need to find and have the money to be able to put on a huge event. And if anybody's ever done it, it's not as easy as just, I have the money to do it. It's not a matter of the money. It's a matter
of all the logistics,
all the other logistics and everything. So,
yeah.
Peter, you will be here in April. Awesome. You said Elon uses Red Horse to fuel his rockets. So how often are the conferences? Once a year. Probably going to do them in May. This year's May 6th and 7th. Right now we got people like Craig Campbell. He's the #1 headline speaker. Brock Misner. We got Chris Palmer. We got Ted Kabutis. We might have Kyle Roof coming out. We got Dixon Jones. We got a bunch of them. I mean, it's really just a lot.
Sounds like a good
it's got like 14 people. It's going to be really good. And then later in the year, we'll have smaller conferences. We'll be basically, 100, 200 people, smaller like that. And then once a month, we have at Outsource Sharks, we have training, and we do, for instance, we'll do content. we'll do GMB, and that's how we source our VAs, and then we bring them in and train them and stuff. That specific conference is going to be in Manila. Our smaller conferences will be in places like Cebu, Davao, and some of the other major cities in the Philippines. The once a year is mainly geared towards bringing in internationals like Craig and them to speak. So, but yeah. So if you got any questions, the website's almost going to be up. I think it's going to be up by Monday. And then we'll have everybody in there. But we have, I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot of people, just to put it nicely. I mean, it's a lot. And it's like, think about everybody that you ever want to hear from there when it comes to local SEO. And it's not just local SEO that we're talking about. We got people doing press releases, which is not, in my opinion, local SEO or content. I got one of my mentors, Ziki Ahmed. He's coming in. He's teaching how to build a cult-like following. Because that's what culture is actually about. I have another one coming in talking about short form content. I have another one coming in talking about branding. I got Eldar, the magician, coming in from for local SEO too, but he's talking about branding and sales. So it's going to be a well-rounded group. It's not just going to be about SEO. So wanted to kind of, and then affiliate marketing is what Craig's going to be teaching. So local SEO, Chris Palmer, Brock Misner, that sort of thing. And then leave all the techie stuff to people like Kyle Roof, if he comes, Ted Kabatis, Dixon Jones with, Entity SEO, stuff like that. So what's it called? It's called World of Search, but the name of the domain name, we'll put that out and everything as well. And it will be on my Facebook wall, and we'll be running ads and stuff too. And we'll have probably 3 different ways people can come to us. It's going to be virtual. Then you'll have the regular general ticket. Then we're going to have advanced ticket for VIP treatment and stuff like that, because we'll be having food, etc., and all that type of stuff. So Jeff says it should be epic. I know Jeff's going to be there. Well done. The small ones will kill it. Yeah, the smaller ones, its problem is Jeff will, like, for instance, finding a venue where you can put 1,000 people in it. I know one venue, it's the Coliseum. So, and we'll put more than 1,000 in it, but we'll eventually get there. So, but yeah, and then Adam will be here, not this time, but next time maybe. And small ones sound great, Peter. So, and the small ones will still be bringing in internationals and stuff. It just won't be like 15 people. It'll just be like me and one other person. So. But the goal is, for me, is my topic, believe it or not, is just why the Philippines. Because, it's going to be my story, how I got started, that sort of thing, why I came to the Philippines, and why should you choose the Philippines. Most people don't know the Philippines is the VA capital of the world. Most of the people, when you hire a VA, actually have a bachelor's, or, if you will, a not marketing, but bachelor's degree in computers and technology. And most of them have higher education. And then besides that, most of them speak fluent English. So if you were to say, well, what about India? Well, not bashing them, but they don't speak fluent English. Most of them don't have bachelors. There's a different quality. I like them both, but I personally, wise, the Philippines is where I'm at. And it's people I love, and I'm going to tell the story about that and how, the Philippines has meant success for me and my family, and where I didn't have it when I was in the States. What does that mean?
Well, the other thing too, people don't think about when you're dealing with VAs, like, I think the most under discussed aspect is cultural differences, right? You can even get like VAs in other countries that maybe they speak decent or fluent English, but it's the cultural differences that can make or break, like, right? And so
the Philippines is
I work with people all over the world, and I won't call any out, but there are certain cultures that it's challenging. I'm like, and then there are others who are like, this is great, right? So you have to be aware of that stuff too, right?
It's like the Filipino people over here. It's like, if they know, like, for instance, they're making you happy, Adam, they're going to go out of their way to make you more happy. They're going, oh, Adam loves this, so I'm going to try to make him happy. And there's that, if you will, old South type of feeling. It's like, yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. And as long as there's that mutual respect, then it's great. Peter, can you message me the place you're talking about, the new event space in Clark? I'm interested because we're calling all types of hotels and everything. So trying to get things worked out. I will not be obviously staying in the same place that we're having the event at, mainly because I will be staying in the Okada. It will be the nighttime tour guide, take the boys on a tour to the hidden bars. Yeah, I've already talked to them about red light district and stuff like that. So, and then I like Okada because it has the Cove. It's a 5-star nightclub in it. Entry fees about $200 a head. And then on top of it, it's got the casino. Besides the casino, then it has a, if you will, bar / singing. And it's just a cool atmosphere. So, but, the hotel rooms are in the States. It costs you about $2,000-3,000 a night. It'll cost you about $400 a night here. So nice. Nakata, yep. But there are other real cheap hotels around, but 5 stars better. So be doing that, Jeff, and stuff. So be picking them up, all that stuff, because Christian singers with lots of similar values, holidays, and you'll drive down through the barangays around here. You'll hear them playing country music, usually, or old school rock and roll, not the new shit.
The good stuff.
It's very much, karaoke night. Yep. Trust me, if I have my way, I'll have them at the bar and doing karaoke. If I have my way, Craig's going to be doing karaoke and make some good short form content. So, but Peter, send me the new event space in Clark. What's the name of it? And send it to me on Facebook if you can, or send it to me inside of YouTube, or email me at william@rakefortress.com. So it's been another epic one. We talked a little bit about everything from AI to, just business in general and life. And make sure you're using AI to take some of your time back, spend it with the people you love, because you never know when that person's not going to be there with you any longer. And you want to make sure you spend as much time with the people that you have around you. And that's what AI is there to help you do, is to actually help you spend time with those that you love and the things that, you like doing and what does bring you happiness. And I wouldn't say necessarily maybe it's SEO, but maybe it's other things. So Jeff says, stay close to the venue, boys, to avoid traffic. I agree. Per se, but I'm gonna stay at a 5-star hotel regardless.
Right.
But appreciate you guys, and until next time, we'll have Adam back on another time, and then we'll see y'all real soon and stuff. What are you, besides that, what else do you have going on? Can you just drop a little, about your own agency, InLeaf? Because I know we didn't talk too much about that, but can you talk to me a little bit about that? We got a few more minutes.
Yeah, real quick. If anyone wants to find us, they can find our website at InLeaf. It's enleaf.com. We do have a couple what I call micro tools there, so feel free to take advantage of that. We talked about content tonight, so we have a headline analyzer, which one of my favorite tools, and some other small SERP analysis tools and whatnot. But yeah, that's where you can find us. We don't specifically niche, but we kind of tend to get a lot of business in real estate, hospitality, in that space, just because I love to travel, so it seems to resonate with that kind of clientele. But yeah, we do just about anything: e-commerce, local, enterprise.
So there's web design. So he does Shopify websites. I don't do Shopify. He does e-commerce, ADA compliance services, digital marketing, SEO pay-per-click, Google Analytics, audits. He has a SERP preview tool here you saw on. Then he has a search spider simulator, headline analyzer, website grader. He's got a bunch of stuff. So this is really awesome. So guys, go check them out over at enleaf.com, and appreciate you being on here, and go to use Chat GPT and let me know any of y'all successes or any case studies y'all do. Till next time, see you soon. See you, Adam. Appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah.
I have so many SEOs that hate me and say that I'm stealing their methods. They bitch and they cry, labeling me SEO Black Hat. Was a nobody, now I'm at the top. Most wanted, most loved, bad business owners, and hated by most SEO opponents. You think you're an SEO god, but you're an SEO fraud. Guess I'm the SEO devil, shouting fuck the SEO guys. White hat SEO doesn't make sense, going with the goody goodies. Up in heaven dressed in white, I like black Tims, I like black hoodies. Fake SEOs up there probably had me on some real straight shit. No sleeping all day, no getting my dick licked. Hanging out with the goody two shoes, lounging in paradise, whole shit. Fuck that shit, I wanna use CT, y'all, and get some green geo grids. Homie, we